Thank you for plugging into this Family Life News podcast, streaming issues-driven, family-focused news. Welcome to another edition of Hometown Heroes on Family Life. I'm your host, Bill Price. Our guest this week, Rick Rohlin from Russell, Pennsylvania. He's rescuing kids around the world, one sport at a time. Tell us about this International Sports Academy and kind of how this thing came to be.
A number of years ago, I've done so much mission work over the last 25 years. And one of the things that has happened everywhere in the world, including America, is a pretty major disconnection between the church and young people. And this has been accelerated the last 10 years. And so in seeking the Lord on what's a great way to connect it, one obvious way is through sports. And so we're using a tool to really empower the local church in other nations to connect to the youth.
When you look at some of these poorer places around the world where there is no programs for kids to take part in, whether it's sports, whether it's something else, more times than not, there is trouble.
Exactly. Here's an example. One village we work with in Kenya, basketball's pretty popular in Kenya, but there's very few facilities. And so we went into one place, took over 2 basketball rims and some basketballs. They had their people, their welders and things, construct 2 hoops. It is the only basketball court in a 50-mile radius. And so here we've got all these young people who like basketball, have no place to play. Yeah. And so we put it right in the front yard, basically, of the church. So all of a sudden, all the young people all the time are coming to that church in proximity. And then the guys at the church, man, they know how to minister. They know how to disciple. They know how to evangelize. And all of a sudden, all these kids, they have access to. And so, we're seeing now in the COVID stuff, as sports have been reduced or taken away, like, whoa, this is kind of an important thing for our young people.
For sure.
And that is life in most of the world. There is no organized sports. It's grabbing some socks, putting them together with duct tape and playing soccer.
Yeah.
And so when you give them a little bit of a taste and a little bit of a tool, they come together. And then if you set the parameters good at the beginning, that this is, it's associated with Jesus, then, man, you just have a win all the way around.
Yeah, it's not rocket science. You get their attention and then you sneak Jesus in. That's a pretty good recipe for success.
And interestingly, one of the things that is a tie-in in these things is sports. We have found as avenues to get into places and find people who are in some form of bondage. And so it's interesting how all these things tie together.
And human trafficking is such a huge problem right now. Yeah. And to learn that you guys are actually using the sport of badminton in India to rescue kids from human trafficking. I mean, that just blows me away.
We had one girl. Here's an example of how a little bit of money goes a long way. Somebody gave $100, and we had a badminton tournament, big badminton tournament in India, and we gave away a $100 prize. So it attracted quite a few people. So this one young lady comes, and she wins. She wins the tournament. It's really good. So, but we sense that, and the people we worked with over there sense there's something going on here, and so they get to know her a little bit. We actually connected her then with a private coach, and so she was all about that because it got her to get good at badminton. Well, what we found out is that it wasn't quite an abduction, but she had left her family and had chased after this guy had taken her, and it was a very bad relationship and a terrible thing. Well, she goes on to win the state title in badminton. She gets connected with quality people within the ministry, breaks up, gets away from the guy, gets reconciled to her family. And it's
Oh, wow.
What the heck? All because she came to a badminton tournament and she came because there was $100 prize.
Sure.
And so somebody gave $100.
Yeah.
And so that girl is being now trained and discipled by some very, very quality people within the ministry in India.
Unreal.
So yeah, it's a neat thing how all these things work together.
That's Rick Rohlin from Russell, Pennsylvania, this week's Hometown Hero. Join us next week as we search for your home, your town, your hero. It's Hometown Heroes on Family Life.